Hey everybody, how do you like that? How do you like that? I was actually going to run my opener twice. I want to thank the people here at, first of all, the greatest little Italian restaurant here in Madeira Beach, Verbatas. I'm right on the corner here. For those of you that grew up in the area, go back maybe 50 years or so, like maybe myself, there used to be Coney Island dogs here, and all my cousins, I think Mary Fran definitely, Colleen, did D work here? I want to say Nora, but all my Aunt Mary and Uncle Sonny's, our family, they all worked here, and so we were the younger, the next generation, not the next generation, the next step of cousins. So behind me, there's Archibald's. I always talk about y'all. I talk about it when I'm out here, and let me see if I can get the comments up. When I get some, please, anyone out there, let me know. I see the numbers. Let me know how it sounds. I'll just jump right into it. Why did I mention the attendance issue? And obviously, first of all, again, I want to thank the fine people here for Badas, and of course the brass captain and the saltwater hippie right across here in Madeira Way, Madeira Beach. Archibald's behind me, but so the big thing last week with the baseball, with the Rays and the playoffs, and playoffs, and the Rangers come here, and of course the numbers, and of course that was because the stadium issue is a contentious issue in 2023. Contentious for the people of Tampa, and for those that would want the stadium there. Not so much contentious for the people of Pinellas County, who and the city of St. Petersburg, who planned for and made preparations to build a state-of-the-art stadium and are doing an entire redevelopment project. I had a good chance to read the paper today and reading about the more of what's going on with that project and everything there in St. Pete. And it's a crown, it's a jewel in the crown, and that's what it is with Pinellas County. And I go back and I thank J.P. Peterson for mentioning he's right. 2.5 million versus 800,000. East Tampa versus and the tall task it is to get across that Howard Franklin, regardless of how we used to always have to and still have to do it to go to Lightning and the Bucks and stuff. But to come over here, I get it; it's a little difficult, and so you have that attendance issue, and of course it shows with the lack of attendance. Of course, I would pose that the Rays ended up getting a 36 innings or 36 scoreless innings. The car jamming down. Oh, just a truck sounded deeper, but yeah, that's Park Boulevard behind me. Anybody, how am I sounding? I hope the audio is okay. I don't know until someone says something. But and then of course with the Eagles in town, it wasn't so much a takeover. We're not worried about that, but the Eagles in town, and I did hear people some narratives, and they're talking about there was a lot of. I'm leaning. That's such a bad manners. A lot of, and I'm sharing this, of course, tonight on my Tampa Bay Rays 7683, my Facebook page. So follow me on there. The show is exclusive on there. And of course, you guys know the frame rate's better. The comments look better when they come in here as we get your comments on what you guys and girls think about the stadium or even across all sports, the attendance. And so you see, situations where, out of town fans get a large buy and it's coming. Los Angeles Rams and the narrative with the SoFi Stadium, and they got this the NFL, and they got 57 because the NFL decided that they deserve to have it after the Bucks became the very first forever, the first team to host and become victorious in a home Super Bowl. You still haven't said anything about my audio. I'm gonna, you guys, excuse me here for a second. Here's what I'm gonna do. Well, I can't do it. I gotta do it live because I just want to make sure I'm making some audio here. So the only way to do it is to pull up the show. Okay, I hear myself. That's terrible. Yeah. Um, but let's go back to March. Okay, and I tell you, for years and years and years, and 100 years it seems, but never ever one wasted. Season ticket holder right here, the entire family, but myself is included. And every year, I know that by March, the money's getting in. Of course, nowadays you can finance it and roll it, and that's great. No, this is all the way we want to be able to pay for, be able to go over to the Bucks games, and being able to attend and seeing our Bucks play live, or our Lightning, or our Rays. And that's the very nature of everything these days. How you pay for it. You have to decide by March, April, even before the draft. The tickets go on sale for next season. Exclusive game offers go on sale closer to the start of the season. But here's what I want to remind you guys and girls about tonight. And this is the reason why I say the attendance for the Bucks. It's not that we don't have the best fans. We have the best fans in the entire. Not only do we have the best fans, our Buccaneers, our Pirates, our crew. We get the best dressed, the best looking. Just from Florida, that's how we are. That's how we roll down here. Not questioning our fandom. But when these tickets went on sale for this season back in, earlier this season, remember, the prognosis for your Buccaneers were the Caleb Williams sweepstakes they were in. They weren't going to have that success in 2023. The NFL, or the NFL world, didn't see the fact that we had a team that was stacked, packed, and ready to attack. From Devin White to Mike Evans, who, by the way, they tried to make both of them make it an issue with the money in the contract. And the Bucks were going to be in Caleb Williams because Baker Mayfield wasn't going to do it. Kyle Trask, he still ain't. We still don't know if he's got it. May never know. I kid, but I mean, I'm just saying. The narrative was when these tickets go on sale that the Buccaneers were going to be, we're not tanking for Caleb. Never say tanking. Not with Jason Light, not with Todd Bowles, and not with most of the dogs on this team before the season even started. When I told you guys, 9-8 at the worst, 10-7 likely, and 12-5 if they beat the Eagles. I'm gonna go ahead and restructure that, because the truth of the matter is this is still a team that has to prove it week in and week out. Our Buccaneers. And the Detroit Lions, last year, I was talking to Peter Blake, my producer and my guy, about this. Last year, the Detroit Lions, again, I'm out for Badas. As I'm talking to y'all, I got a nice big party of people out here on the sidewalk in front of Saltwater Hippie, and just across Madeira Way over at the Brass Captain. But the Saltwater has a live guitarist playing, and the Brass has some music playing over there on the jukebox. And then the Ferbadas with the out here, just beautiful here in St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay. Please make sure someone just tell me if my audio is okay. But I know that my wife and my daughter are in Baltimore, Maryland. My daughter, Kate, she got there, moved there this week. And I know I'm planning on going to a Ravens game. And I know that if the Buccaneers were coming up, they're coming up. I want the world to know. And they're going to go to Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson doesn't resign, or Harbaugh gets fired, or they don't have whatever they have at whatever they're doing. They don't have Ray Lewis anymore. And it's like they're going to be a down team, but it's going to be a good jiggy team. I'm going to go anyway. The next time the Buccaneers play in Baltimore, especially now that I got a connection and my oldest, I'm there. But remember, I go back and I remember when these tickets went on sale. Again, it wasn't that Buccaneer fans weren't. They were just, the world was telling us how bad this team was going to be. You had some people that decided, well, you know what, we'll take 2023 off, or we'll buy them, but we'll figure it out. And then they get the offers from out-of-town teams. The Eagles team on a Monday nighter here in Tampa Bay after the Bucs beat the Eagles 2 years ago in the playoffs. And then the Detroit Lions last season's Hard Knocks. And here's the thing: the reason why I'm coming at you with this, I'm a fan of ball. I love all ball. I mean, not just football. I mean, all balls. Didn't that sound right? And I got a little lady over here who's wondering, but yeah, no, it wasn't what I was trying to say. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that Detroit Lions fans, they bought some tickets that came on the road. Now, Peter Blake said a good point to me. My guy, Peter Blake, of course, co-host of the JP Peterson Show, locking it down 5 days a week from 10 to 12 on many, many avenues. If you're not finding the JP Peterson Show, you're just not looking. Got that local coverage. But he said, you don't know that Detroit Lions are going to be coming in mass. And I don't. So I'll call my shot on that. Not that I'm trying to predict something. I'm not going outside the box because I want to be the predictor again. Gulf Boulevard. You see the Archibald's building now. Everybody that grew up down here, you guys remember Archibald's. There may not be a whole lot of silver and blue there on Sunday because it's a Buccaneer throwback. It's our throwback game. We're wearing our throwback uniforms. And I get that this is not the narrative we want to be having this week. But you all know, as much as I know, every time. And again, when I said attendance conversation now, I didn't say the Rays and the Bucks or any of that. And of course, the Lightning, they just got a lockdown and Jeffrey Vinnick and the Lightning in the organization. By the way, somebody shout out. I see y'all watching. Had the Lightning do tonight? I honestly and truthfully, this is why I literally got off, and we got a little cool air, some rain coming north, and we're gonna have another cool front this weekend, which is crazy for this already time in October, but it feels nice. And I'm coming down here to the Brass Captain and the Saltwater Hippie, and right out here in front of Ferbadas on this nice big deck they have. It's fantastic Italian, fantastic food. See right there, 2 slices for $8, but then you get this $1 million view every day of the year from down here at Madeira Beach, just across the street from that. I call it Archibald's because everyone who lives there knows it was Archie's. I don't have a problem with Detroit Lions that may have bought some. I don't have a problem. I don't. I'm not saying you don't. I'm waiting for y'all to comment. So get off your damn fingers and type into the keyboard. I don't have a problem with. I understand because I've understood this since 1972. I've understood this since Hurricane Oscar back in '74. I've understood this since I grew up. Since we had to get tropical storms and there'd be 8-foot sand dunes here on Gulf Boulevard, driving the beaches. I've understood my entire life that we are a tourist destination. And then I understood for how many years? 77 through 2002, 87, 97, 25 years. That we were in the NFC Central, the black and blue division, the Norris division. That the NFL would schedule games later in the year for some of those games. And then the very last game I thought I'd ever see here ever as a Buccaneers fan was in 1995 after Hugh Culverhouse passes and the team's being guided by a 3-person trust that's got Gay and Hugh Juniors, and they're all there, and Mrs. Culverhouse, Gay, or not Gay, but the daughter, and then Joy. got their interests in mind, and the interest may have been an out of town, Peter Angelos, or somebody who would want to buy a. I still think it's so funny that the Glaciers, and I'm just ramping here because no one's. Oh, Tim Haynes, my first comment of the evening, Tim. Good evening, right? Good evening, Tim. Um, I painted myself in a corner, Tim, because I was talking about because no one ever wants to say because everybody wants to go. With Tom Brady, the narrative was, and of course, I can't defend you if you sold your tickets during Tom Brady because I don't know how you missed any of those games with the greatest of all time and this team as it is assembled. But this team in 2023, you want to be there, and most people we're gonna have Bucks fans. We're gonna still be outnumbering for sure, but there's gonna be silver and blue. Maybe not that much. We'll see on Sunday. There was green for the Monday nighter. Not terribly. We didn't feel insulted. We didn't feel like someone broke into our house and stole food off the table. Oh, Tim says the sound is good. Thank you, brother. So I'll just drop a few. How's the shot? Is my leaning, Tim? I'm just gonna start asking Tim. Tim and I are just having a narrative. Tim, is my leaning throwing you off? I'll stand. Let me stand a little more out in the middle here. Then I stand. I look kind of old. Oh, what a great evening. Again, the wind is coming out of the east northeast and it's kind of dry, but again, that rain's starting to come south again. And then we're gonna get another cool front this weekend. So for those of you, anybody out there that are watching and you didn't already know this, for Sunday's game, for Sunday's 425, first game of the year that's flexed. I mean, so that's again wrapping it back to the narrative of the fact that back in March when tickets went on sale, or June and April, or June and July before the season when tickets went on sale, other towns, a team like Detroit, that their team is coming up, or a team like Philadelphia, who their team was Bay Area lead on top, that their fans may have invested something to come down and be here in Tampa Bay. Which you blame them? I don't. So it's not attendance problem. It's just an attendance. It's a thing. And just as much as we go to New Orleans or we go to Atlanta or we go to Carolina, which honestly, guys and girls, let's be honest, isn't the NFC South the best division in football to be a fan? Because you go to Atlanta, you got Stone Mountain, and you're in Atlanta, and then you got Carolina, and you could do some of the Appalachian Trail or the mountains or vacation, and of course you got New Orleans, which that's like a butthole in the middle of summer. But in the fall when it's cold, and you can't smell as much. I'm kidding. I bust the New Orleans fans' chops. Tim says perfect, brother. Thank you, Christopher Cole. What's up, Ray? What's up? What's up, Christopher? Yeah. So Peter Blake locked me out of. No, he's obviously updated StreamYard. I had access to nobody's Facebook, so I was gonna go on Pete's page and then Buck's Life and Ray's Life just to kind of start a narrative. But I had to go on just my own Facebook. Wait, no, I'm sorry. What? I went on Facebook and I went on my YouTube channel. I did get my Facebook, but I wanted to get this show on here because I think this is a conversation that we can have here. It's not too late. Guys and girls, jump in here about, maybe it's about the Rays. I shared this to the Bucks Life page through Facebook. Maybe it's about the Rays. And, with the narrative being they're building a stadium in the wrong place. And then there's, obviously the not big Trump that we find out 13 and a half minutes before the game on Tuesday at, 3:30 start that we know this is how much MLB cares about the 5 years in a row playoffs for your Rays. Second consecutive wild card banner. I kid, Pat Aaron from the Pat Aaron Show, WDA. Yeah, I kid around about that. I'm not explaining myself here. I'm just saying that it's a thing and it's a narrative. But I think that sometimes we got to remember it's not that people sold out, not that we, how dare a Bucks fan sell their tickets for this game? We're 3-1 and we're fighting for the NFC South for our third consecutive. No, remember again, back when they may have been offered or somebody, or they may have went online, just went, let's just see what these tickets might sell for. Whoa. There's a thing here. They're obviously catering to Detroit fans. It's the throwback game, which that's another reason why I think Peter Blake, my producer and my guy, might be correct, is because this is a throwback game. This is a sacred game for 2023. Because as much as these 3-1 Buccaneers who are getting jiggy with it week in and week out, and Devin White and Mike Evans and the team are all dedicated, and it seems like we have a lot of dogs on the same page, basically all 53 in that room, and then the entire coaching staff and then Jason Light, who I just love seeing Jason Light. Now Arthur Blank's the owner of the Falcons. I usually don't. I mean, now John Lynch, he could do whatever he wants in San Francisco there, and of course we're going to be visiting San Francisco this year, so stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about that on Cup of Ray. John Lynch can walk. He owns. He's a Hall of Fame player, Buccaneer, and he's also one of the best managers in football, but not better than Jason Light. I still pose. He's got Kyle Shanahan, and they got the zone blocking scheme. They've been working on this. They've lucked into some things. They found Brock Purdy, 46 career starts in Iowa State. Okay, so we're finding out that maybe sometimes just if you got 12 starts in Alabama your senior season, but you go, you win a championship, maybe you're going to take another couple of years to season in the NFL. Maybe if you've got 46 starts at Iowa State, which I would contend is still pretty damn good D1 FBS school, pretty darn good. I could give you other examples of Iowa Hawkeyes that maybe are playing, pretty well in the NFL. But I would pose that, 46 starts, we're now learning, especially if he shows consistency over it, that, Brock Purdy's the guy. Aren't we all waiting for Brock Purdy to just? I'm serious. I'm waiting for the kid to implode. I hate to say that, but just as a fan of ball, I'm waiting to see him have the downturn so he can come back. Just as like I'm waiting to see. We saw Calvin Ridley. No, Calvin Ritter have success last week for the Falcons and the way he found his targets, the way he utilized his weapon. And people are like, wow, he is maybe not the guy. And of course, Bryce Young, little Bryce, he's going to get it, just like little Kyler's going to get it at some point. Sorry, I left that comment up too long. Tim Haynes says, I comment on Facebook, but I don't see it pop up. Okay, guys, that's right, Tim. Thank you. You reminded me that when I posted to my Facebook page, Facebook doesn't come through StreamYard. Another thing. So let me go to my Facebook page. There's only 3 comments. It's Tim. Eric Moreno's watching. Fred Swayze Moore was watching with me. Hey, guys. Tim says, good evening, Ray. Tim says, sounds good, Ray. Tim says, love the throwback. Eric Moreno says, can I come on a show, Ray? Yeah, Eric. Dude, you know what? Let me invite you while I got the second here. Since I've got a captivated audience. And you know me, I always stand on custom. Be right back. And now the show is in the comments. So, yeah, Eric, if you can use it, get in there. I'll be home in like 5 minutes. Oh, come on, Eric. Get me home in 5 minutes. One of my Uber Eats. You want to come in? I'm kidding with you, bro. I love to have you come in. Get home. Let me get off this thing. So, yeah, okay, Brock Purdy, the guy. Bryce Young, he's got a ways to go. But I'm talking about, the Bucks and the Detroit Lions. And, man, we talked. I kind of riffed a little bit on it. Maybe I always come out here, I don't have a consistent, what's my narrative? Let me go back to comments so I can get that one off. Again, Tim, thank you. I didn't see F. Thanks for showing. Oh, Tim Haynes also says, I love the throwbacks. Yeah, you can't go wrong. It's especially sweet for a lot of us older in the tooth, longer in the tooth Bucks fans, isn't it? That, we got so much shit for wearing those throwbacks. And it was like, oh, they're the worst team. But they were like our team. And then, I don't know if everyone had the chance like I did to go since 76 and then to be in for most, at least half the games there in 79 and worst to first. And to see what it meant to celebrate with my dad and my family and all of fans and, celebrate from worst to first after an 0-26 start, man. And then Hardy Nickerson comes to town and all of a sudden it's like, I never was embarrassed to wear the colors, wear the creamsicles. I hated the creamsicles was always the shittiest term for the Buccaneers colors, but now it explains it, and creamsicle's fine because now creamsicle is great because it is our first, it is our history, and I always say to appreciate more where you're going, you have to remember where you came from. So this idiot says, here's StreamYard.com. That's right. The call. Anyone else would use it. Just, you got to keep the camera straight. Don't let it fluctuate around. Come in and let's talk. Any question tonight. I'm out here again in front of Archibald's at Frabada's here in Madeira Beach. Just enjoying a beautiful evening here in Tampa Bay. And I know I get started late. It's 10:21, but that's the reason why, sue me. It's the reason why Cumparay doesn't, it's great traction. Thank you all again for the support. And I appreciate the share. And I appreciate you go to my YouTube page, which just shows on tonight. And even if you're watching on Facebook, and I see a lot of y'all watching on YouTube, actually, figure out the frame rate difference on YouTube and how pretty it looks. And then comment and follow there because, there's some shows that I just drop on there. I said that, and you can go back and check it. I've only got like 33 videos on there, but I put content on there. But I do that because sometimes Facebook's being a prick. Or, Mark and the guys or Meta or Google or whoever. And so sometimes it's just nice to be able to pop it just on my page. And I know you follow and I know so we can have this little back and forth. Christopher Cole says, it could be worse. The Rays could be in Baltimore and fixing to get swept by the Texas 7-1 Rangers in the 8th. Christopher, hey, and who won the Lightning game tonight? Lightning's first game over at the Amalie Arena. I'm sad that I don't know that, but I got here, I needed power. I'll explain that in a second. Tim Hayden says, Baker's mobility is really carrying his offense. Yeah, Tim, you know what? I'm going to give you a double entendre on that. Not only is it Baker's mobility, but Baker's mobility to take the entire offensive line to the Bahamas. Baker's mobility to be showing up at these events. Also, what him and his beautiful wife are doing as far as their organization, but showing up and being a guy, because that's the thing. As we see him on the sidelines there during the Red River rivalry there on Saturday, and I'm like, you guys saw my Facebook page. I'm like, oh my God, Baker's going on, because I saw him miking him up on a quick shot, and they were getting ready to go talk to Pat McAfee. He'd been on the Pat McAfee show on Friday, and Peter Blake shared on the JP Peterson show, shared that with us. People forgot that Baker's a baller. Baker's a guy's guy. Baker's the guy you go to war with. Just like my dogs and my guys and girls on my sort out UPS that I was at war with tonight and all those packages. Big volume night, and it's starting to pick up, and the holidays are coming. And our job, our most important job, is to get your package from where it came from. We sort it so it can get to where it's going. We get it there on time. We get it safely, and you can enjoy the holidays, whether you're receiving or giving, because that's what the holidays are all about. UPS sponsor a parade, not at all, but they do sponsor me on my part-time job. But yeah, Baker's mobility, Tim. Good comment. Good comment. Any more surprises about the 2023 Buccaneers? I mean, so it's not Jake Camarda. He was my 2022 MVP, and you guys and girls know my kicking thing. How I got a thing for kickers: Donald Igwebuike, Garo Yepremian, Neil O'Donoghue, Mike Husted, Bill Capice. Over the years, did I say Donald Igwebuike? Yeah, I'm gonna forget a couple here. Yeah, no, there's a bunch I want to forget because we had some issues with the kicking. And then Ryan Suckup now transitions to McLaughlin, and I'm like, what a great story that is. That's a good narrative for CBS or Fox, because they'll carry the divisional round of the playoffs, because Bucks aren't going to need the wild card. We're going to win the division, and we're going to win it enough that we get that first week bye, even with the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's the thing. Now Christopher Cole, Lightning 5-3. Let's go, Lightning. I should have shared it. Now, if I mention it one more time, the Lightning, that's the third time I should have shared it to the Lightning page. It might have got some run. Tim says Steve Christie. And we know Steve Christie, number two. Number two in your program, number one in your heart. Of course, Sam Weiss was like, nod, nod, wink, wink, plan B, free agency. Steve's going to stay here. We knew we knew the Canadian was a baller. And then it's like, so we're working to protect other players. And remember, guys and girls, Bucks fans, this Bucks team was going in the right direction. We had gotten, Hardy Nickerson. We did have, I'm trying to think, in 93, John Lynch. Christie was 92. I think it was Weich's first year. He completed his first year, and he had a handshake agreement that Christie was dating a co-ed over here at the USF campus. He was young too; he was like 22 himself, 23, and his wife or his girlfriend was in college. But it's not like he was a petty, But you're going to stay here, and of course, Buffalo signs him away, and we had to watch him there have a career that he should have had here in Tampa Bay. Of course, one would pose Tampa Bay still had a lot of decisions, 95 and so on, to get going before Steve Christie could even have a successful. Jim Melvin stating the obvious, but the next 3 games are so huge. Jim, you're not kidding me. And that's why I go, well, for me, it was the Eagles. I said this before the season. I said this back in June. I said, if the Bucks beat the Eagles in week 4, then we could be 12-5. I saw this team as 9-8 at the worst, and that would still be because of this division, this NFC South. Of course, the Saints went and proved me a little bit wrong, but the Falcons look pretty good. And we know what they got Arthur Smith's got going on down there with the defense and with that offense and with, Bijan and Drake London and just, Kyle Pitts. But I'm like, the 9-8 could still win this division. 10-7 would win this division. And I could see 11-6. I think the Eagles game was but I want to go ahead and preface that with saying that I was also saying if the Bucks can't show up for the Eagles, we made Hurts our bitch 2 years ago in the playoffs when we bounced them out. Pardon my French. We can't lock it down on Monday night, and that's why, Jim, this weekend's game against the Lions, because number one, it's representation. And that's kind of the reason why I wasn't trying to call anybody out tonight, but that's why I was kind of talking about the attendance and the fact that there's going to be some blue and silver in there, and there was some green, and there might be some down the road. I'm trying to think off my hand. Yeah, there's a couple of teams that might have fans that travel okay. We're never going to be as bad as the Los Angeles Rams, which literally their home stadium is an away stadium. And there was another one I watched last week, a game where was it the Monday night game? No. It wasn't 49ers when Dallas went out there Sunday night, but the game where it was like, whoa, there's a lot of traveling fans here because there's been the balance of power with Tom and Tampa Bay for 3 years and winning 55, and it was like other teams are starting to get. I was gonna say get jiggy with it again. I have no other comment tonight, but oh, Tim says, how about those Patriots? Oh God, 2 games in a row. The guys on Pardon My Take covered it so great. Big Cat and PFT were giving Jake, no, not Jake, giving who they're giving that guy a hard time, and it was like, oh, let's see this. Okay, timeout. This is just getting good. I'm just getting ready to go. I'm just getting ready to tell you something. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Oh, let me get the comments out first. Let's be professional. Tim, I want to get back to the Patriots in a second, but let me just do this because I haven't used this enough. It's funny, for 2 years they were saying I had a trademark issue. I bought this song, and my wife, Footage Bound Productions, did the video, and we did this over 3 weekends. And we're doing an updated video. Just been kind of busy getting our daughter off. Oh, I've been off center the entire time, getting our daughter to college and such. But let me run this one more time so I can share this link with a couple of people and see if anyone wants to jump in here. It's a Cabaret from down here at Frabada's. I'm a Deer Pass, just across from the old Archibalds, in front of the Saltwater Hippie and the Brass Captain. And we'll be back on the other side in just a moment. I'm just all over the place looking for my water. Johnny B, congratulations! Now hosting the Lightning post game show, and of course now I can't lie to my boy Johnny B. Of course, Johnny Bell. I'm not gonna be able to say, hey, I listened to the post game show last night because I already kind of gave my last will and testament here on Cabaret that I did not know the score. But blame a guy that's working 17 jobs and trying to lock it down. But yeah, congratulations! Couldn't have a better host. I had a couple of chances to do a couple of shows with Johnny, and number one, funny guy. I've had a chance to actually go see him do his live stand-up and actually judge some comedy battles. And appreciate him as a good friend, and congratulations. Could not have a better guy to lock down the Lightning post-game shows. Let me go and bring this guy in right now and see if I set up to the shot right. I got it set up right. Go ahead and bring in here Mr. Eric. Eric, how are you, my friend?
What's going on, man? Excited for this game, man.
Go, Eric, tell me, other than the fact that it's a throwback, what are you looking forward to in this Detroit game this week? What are you looking forward to as far as, oh, I got another guy in the back room too, but what are you looking forward to most in this game this week, Eric?
Coming off the bye week, I think, was it last year, we started off slow and, we're getting some guys back. Looks like we might be pretty healthy. Would love to see Elijah Chancey next to Vita. I mean, that's just going to free up. I mean, he showed flashes. I mean, he had a quarterback hit on Cousins, and then kind of re-aggravated his calf. He's a bigger guy, so Bowles, was said, hey, we're going to be a little more cautious this time.
Yeah.
So looks like Dean might play. Looks like we might get a fully healthy team.
Let me ask you this, brother. Maybe not, because you may have been busy traveling, in Europe or something, like you do. I love the trips.
Oh man, when
tell me about it.
When I found out we beat the Vikings with that Godwin catch, Ray, that was one of the best. I didn't see it, but I saw it after the game. That was one of the best catches. I mean, Godwin makes. I mean, he almost makes it look easy.
Yes.
And I'm when I found out we won, I'm like, yes. Usually when we go to Spain, we win. But hey, Baker, had some amazing runs on that drive. I'm like, okay, do not give the ball back to the Vikings. They were a 13-win team last year, and looks like they lost Jefferson, I heard, 4 to 6 weeks. Yes. So I don't know if they'll trade Cousins. He's got a no trade clause, so he has to approve. Hey, you want to go here? I got to approve it.
What's funny about the Vikings, though, Eric, is that they were the darlings of. To me, honestly, because there's the thing. I knew Kirk Cousins was drafted in the 4th round by Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan after they drafted RG3 in the 1st in Washington. So I knew Kirk Cousins was a guy. I didn't really like him as much, and maybe I still don't know how to. But did you watch the quarterback thing on Netflix? The quarterbacks with Mahomes, Cousins, and of course Mariota.
I saw a little bit of it, but I don't know. I might get around to it.
No, well, the reason why I say this is because to me, it was Kirk Cousins was the darling of it. Him and his beautiful wife and what they're doing there. And of course, I mentioned earlier in the opening of the show that the Detroit Lions, they were the darlings of last year's, of the Hard Knocks. In fact, some people were like saying, with Dan Campbell and what they got going on, let them do it 2 years in a row. Never heard that in the history of Hard Knocks. That's the kind of team we're dealing with in Detroit. But when the Buccaneers beat Minnesota in week 1, I felt like they put one chalk up on the board, that they took care of one of last year's darlings. And of course, now they have to take care of these Detroit Lions. They have to do it this week at home. Are you worried, Eric, about Detroit Lions fans that may have decided to travel down? And do you think that could become a narrative with the Buccaneers this week in the throwbacks?
When I went to the Bears game, and the Bears are not even good. There was probably 60-40 Bears fans, and for the Eagles game, it was probably 60-40. And Lions fans, I heard there's going to be about 30,000. The stadium holds
65, let's say 67,
60,000. Yeah, that's half. Yeah. That's half the stadium right there.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Eric, because that was the point I wanted to make tonight. Now, back when the season tickets went on sale, people locked it down. Of course, we have great representation from here in Tampa Bay across all of our sports. Baseball's getting there, hopefully. But then, of course, the Bucs were supposed to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league. They had nothing going on. Mike Evans wanted money. Devin White wanted money. Nobody wanted to work together. That's not what's going on. But that means when the tickets were being available, they were on secondary markets 4 months ago when the Bucs were supposed to suck in 2023. I think there were some Bucs fans that had to make decisions. And, of course, we're a tourism destination. So at the end of the day, it doesn't mean we root or rock our Bucs any less or harder than anybody. It just means people took advantage of a situation and I've got a thing this year, Eric, with the national media, kind of got a hard on against them about how bad the Bucs were supposed to suck. And we've been saying all along, this team still has a lot of dogs from 55.
Yeah. I don't know. You probably get asked this a lot. And baseball season is over, and you probably know what I'm probably going to ask.
Right.
I don't know. And I'm probably going to get some heat for saying this.
So let it free, brother. Let it be.
In your opinion, everyone has their own opinion. And I've heard some rumblings, he could be back, and you probably know who I'm talking about.
Mike Evans?
Okay. No, Wander. I heard they might let him play in the Dominican, and I heard that was false. They want to wait until the investigation is over. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
I'm glad you asked that because my son's got the Wander Franco shirt. We bought the jersey on the way into a game early in the season. We went to 11 of the first 14 home games. It was crazy. We got caught up in that. I wanted to let him feel it just like we did when we came up with the Bucs and coming up. And we stopped at there's a guy that on the underpass from Ferg's on the underpass First Avenue selling T-shirts. You know my guy, right? Well, I bought Tristan his Wander Franco shirt. It was a moment we had. He's like, you got the T-shirt. He's like, do you really? I'm like, yeah, I had a little extra money. I put it away and I get the shirt. We had a good day. By now, you can't wear a Wander Franco shirt in Tampa Bay because if you wear it, somehow you're going to try to transition into what you support this guy.
I have one. I'm not going to wear it. I'm not going to wear it until, and then I have a Rose Rant and Wander. I can't, a Rose Rant's on there, but you also have Wander. So I'm not going to, no, I'm not. No, it's in my closet.
Well,
So,
no, listen. Just like I'll tell you this, because you also alluded to the fact that he might play in Dominican. Maybe they're starting to figure some things out. Maybe it wasn't as clear dry. I've always believed in innocent until proven guilty. I mean, we have to, right? That's literally one of the cornerstones of our democracy is to be like, okay, let's prove it. Now there are times where you can prove it, and you're like, oh, but I mean, in this case, I still just heard that some things popped up. There were a lot of he said, she said, or a lot of she saids, but just like it was once not fad to be able to wear the creamsicles, now that's back. So hold on to that Wander jersey, because if they do get it straightened out, if they were to find out that it was somebody who was just a sus, she was just trying to work some money, maybe whatever, I think that would have cleared over a lot sooner. But let's just go ahead and wait till all the cards are in.
I got a signed bat by Wander. I got like 3 signed cards. I got a signed baseball. I got probably 20, 30, prospect rookie cards. So I'm gonna keep them, and hopefully it's over. Maybe they'll make a decision after the World Series, which could go into like mid-November. So
hey, somebody pointed out the fact that this Texas Rangers team, they swept the Rays. They're about to sweep Baltimore.
Yeah, it's like 7-1 in the 8th inning.
Does it make it less? Does it sting a little bit less if the team doesn't it sting? For me, it does. But let me ask you: does it sting a little less if the team that beat you ends up being the one that wins the World Series, or do you just think, man, if we'd have gotten past them, maybe the Rays could have gotten all the way there in 2023?
Yeah,
it's a tough question. I asked tough questions. Sorry, Eric.
Yeah, I wanted to see the Orioles. I mean, the Rangers are a pesky group. They got Bochy. He's got. I mean, he's one of the best managers of all time. He's got 3 World Series, 11, 13, and 15. Correct.
He's so awesome, but he's just so awesome. I'm like, every time I see him, no offense, but I'm like, he's still managing, and I'm like, yeah, he is. And what'd you think this week? I'm going to bring this guy in here, Eric. I got another guy in the back room from the Buck Skull gang in the house. Let me bring him in here so we can do a 3-way. It's a Tuesday night, but it's the beach. It's after 10. What'd you think, Eric, about this week in the Cleveland Guardians and Terry Francona and the relationship that Cash had, and how he had come from the Cleveland system or been a coach in Cleveland before he came here? When that first came out this week, that trying to see if there's any more bait on the hook, or is that just some stupid? Sorry, it's the Wi-Fi. Somebody, she's over here doing she's doing something live on.
Sorry, you broke up, Ray.
Can you cut it off? Sorry, Eric.
No, you good.
Go ahead, since I'm more, let me bring this guy in. Go ahead. Of course, bringing in my guy Eric. What's up, brother? I got 2 Erics in here tonight.
Yeah, what you guys think? What you guys think about this Kevin Cash rumors? Is he leaving? Is he staying?
Yes.
What you guys take? Should we fire him because he haven't won us nothing? Do you think we should? It's time. Do you think it's time to let him go?
Eric, you answer that. Moreno, Eric, answer that question.
No, they asked him about it, and he's under contract, so they would have to trade for him. Yes. Which, I mean, he was their bullpen coach. I don't think he would have wanted to move his family. So he's under contract for 2 years. So I don't know. I mean, they had a lot of stuff going on this year. They had 3/5 of the rotation. Wander situation really, really screwed us. Hopefully he comes back next year and gets cleared.
But the point I'm trying to get to, I think we still could have won without this stupid. I don't think Glasnow was not even that good.
Eric, well, let me ask you both. I say Eric so I can say Eric once and I get both of you. What if the whole thing with the Rays attendance, like I said, they told us, I'm exaggerating, but they told us 13 minutes before the game on Tuesday at 3:00 that they were going to play. It's the worst time slot literally in the history of sports, baseball, or playoffs.
Because they hate us.
Well, and so the fact that the Rays ended up going to the 33rd scoreless inning and we got bounced out last year straight, and the fact that all came up, can't that all be understood that maybe some people were just like, look, let's just win a game or two and let's get to the next series? I don't think the attendance would have been an issue if we continued into those playoffs.
I believe it's rigged.
Oh, rigged. Why do you say that, Eric? Again, Eric, say it twice.
Because they hate us.
They're haters. Okay. Well, Eric Moreno, let me ask you. attendance in St. Pete maybe will never be as good as if it was built over in Tampa. Let's say if it was built at Legends Field, it would be literally in the middle of Tampa. But can baseball work here with a $6 billion development deal, and they're going to bring in businesses and they're going to build out the neighborhood? Can baseball work here in St. Pete, even if it doesn't work for some Tampians that don't want to come across the bridge on a Tuesday?
Do you remember the Lightning was at St. Pete at one time? Remember?
Yes, sir.
I don't know, how was the tennis then? The tennis
set records against the Philadelphia Flyers. I was one there. I was yelling Hextall, Ron Hextall in goal for the Flyers. We were so in his head, just like we were in Drew Brees' head back in 2001.
Was the tennis?
Yeah.
Was the tennis better when Lightning was there?
And the Storm were setting Arena Bowl records every year for 3 years, making the playoffs because over at the old
why did we leave them?
Thunderdome.
My thing is, why did we leave St. Pete then? Why did the Lightning leave St. Pete, move to Tampa Bay?
Well, Eric Moreno, why did the Lightning leave St. Pete? You're younger. I'm testing you, but I got to test you. I'm an old guy. Well, because they were already building the Amalie Arena, Eric. Both Erics. So they played a couple of years over at the fairgrounds, literally in the barn that houses, at the state fair. It houses the livestock. But they played there, and it was funny because we weren't supposed to get hockey, Eric's. I'll just start saying Eric's.
Oh,
we weren't supposed to get it. But we weren't supposed to get hockey, and then Wayne. I'm sorry, but Phil Esposito steps up and basically, steps up like a made man and vouches for us. And he's like, "Hey, they're with me," and so we get hockey. So they were over there. Then they came over and used the dome because we didn't have a baseball team yet, but they were planning on going to Tampa the entire time. But St. Pete planned to build the stadium. Are you guys looking forward to going to a game in the new stadium, guys?
It all depends. What's the price going to be?
Oh, Eric, you're always. Bottom Eric, you're always a bottom line guy. Top Eric Moreno, I know you got big money, so you're going to be going to games over there in St. Pete anyway, aren't you?
I went to a game. Well, let's see. I went to a game I went to like 2 games last year, and then a game. I don't know. I've been to like 4 games in the last 2 years. Hopefully, fun. I don't know.
Man, I'm also hearing that. I don't know if we're really going to move to St. Pete. I'm hearing rumors about that. We don't know. It's not a done deal. But what's the latest you have on that, Ray?
Let me work back to that, Eric, because I wanted to ask this question. I saw somebody mention this, and I want to know what you guys thought about this. Jim Melvin said, I think I skipped over this, the Lions, the Falcons, and the Bills, the Bucks' next 3 games.
Yeah,
what do you guys?
Bills on a bye week, on a short week.
We might win. We could probably win 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Eric Moreno, you think that as well?
Yeah, I mean,
who do we have?
Let's say you beat the Lions and Falcons at home.
Yeah.
And Bills, that's going to be a tough game coming off a short week. Right. You'll still be 5-2 through 7 games. That's already half our wins. Over half our wins.
Hey, it was funny though.
Yes.
We only predicted 2 wins this year. We would have passed that goal.
We passed that already. And let me tell you guys this. What if I told you that of the Lions, the Falcons, and the Bills, that the Falcons game has been the one I've been more worried about all season, being that they were the one that Arthur Smith's been putting that defense into, hiring all those assistants from the Saints because he wants to build a team that can build a defense to beat teams within their division. And with Kyle Pitts and Drake London and now Bijan Robinson, and all of a sudden Ritter might be not the guy. The Falcons of those 3 scare me the least, but maybe it should be the Lions in front of the Bills with the Falcons in the middle. The Falcons comes off maybe as an easier game, but that's the one I'm more worried about with the division matchup.
The Jaguars beat the Bills. That's where I take my notes. Take my.
Yeah.
We have a better roster than the Jaguars.
That's a good point. We may not have Trevor Lawrence, but we got Baker Mayfield. That's not a bad that's not a bad consolation prize, is it?
Nope.
You mind if I read some of these comments real quick, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, thanks for coming. You got to jump out. Let me know. Tim Haynes says, "How about those Patriots?" Oh, I read that one. Those Patriots suck. Is this Bill Belichick's swan song, guys?
I don't know.
I'm not. I mean, the guy he's earned the right. No matter what happens, if Robert Kraft fires Bill Belichick, the next guy's got to come in. And I would pose maybe it's harder than coming in and replacing Tom Brady, which Mac Jones, by the way, Barry Leeds, not the guy. Working back to what Tim said, but I think that the next coach that comes in, so I think Robert, the worst thing he could do is hire another coach in during a rebuild and then go 2-15 or 1-17.
I don't think they're gonna fire Robert Kraft. I'm in Belichick.
Or Bill Belichick. I don't think so either. No, I think he's on a hot seat, but I think they're I think he's definitely near the end. I think at this point he's going to be the one that decides, I'm done. Let me exit. Let me come ring the bell up in the lighthouse. I'm kidding.
Can I give Can I give a prediction for the game?
Okay.
For this week's game, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Let's do that. We'll start with you, Eric Moreno, and then we'll work down Eric number 2. Eric. No, I didn't say Eric.
Wait, is this a real name? Is this actually named Eric too?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I didn't.
Yeah, I got 2 Erics.
Minus Lions in favor by 3. I'm gonna say 24-21 in favor of Tampa, but maybe it's a lower score game. But I got a 24-21.
And you'll be at the game.
And I'm glad it's flex. I can sleep in a little bit.
That's awesome.
I wish it was an 8:30 game.
No, Eric. No, Eric number 2. Not in number 2. Eric number 2. No, because we did enough primetime games with Tom Brady. And don't forget, guys, half of the reason why this Bucs team in 2023 has the attitude that they have, the attitude, which I totally, completely love. And when Todd Bowles is going, yeah, one word describes this win. Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons why, though, Eric, is because when Tom was here and we were supposed to win, it was primetime 7-8 games a year. This year, it was like they put all of our games at 1 o'clock. I love the fact that this Bucs-Detroit matchup is the first flexed game of the season.
Hey, guys, if the Bucs win this week, we're going to have more flex games, right?
Oh, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening, especially if we win this week and then we beat let's not get ahead of ourselves.
How about the Niner game? Could they flex that from 425? I think it's week 11.
What time is that?
If I'm not mistaken, could they flex? I hope they don't flex a game to Sunday Night Football because I don't want that to be another Niners and Cowboys game.
My God,
that'll be good when Niners and Bucs
play. Like the Cowboys. I mean, the Niners. I don't know when the Niners will lose again. I think they could go undefeated.
Can we beat the Niners?
No, remember last year the Lions spanked us, but that was with a Tom Brady. Bless his heart, the guy was still saying the right things, but he'd already have checked out, and we had all those injuries on the offensive line, and we had no running game. So they bounced us last season.
What's the key to the game? The Bucs defense versus the Lions offensive line?
And also the ability to stop Nick Bosa and be able to, get that running game.
I'm talking about the Lions game this week.
Oh, the Lions game. To me, the Lions
can run the ball too. The Lions can run the ball like the Eagles can.
Well, I think you also got to worry about the fact that, you're dealing with a quarterback this weekend with the Lions. You're dealing with a quarterback.
He's not mobile either.
He's not mobile, but he can pitch the pill on a time. I mean, he can pitch the pill pretty well. So what's going to happen is, like you said, Eric, already talking about the Bucs secondary and talking about who we're going to have, and the Bucs front 7, I think is the second best in football, maybe the third if we're counting the Niners and the Eagles. But I think that it all comes down to that defensive pressure, and that's why Kalijah Kancey coming in this weekend is a reason for me to get pretty happy, even just for what he brings to this line that makes the rest of the dogs work a little harder.
Do you think he will be on a pinch count if he does play?
What do you think, Eric Moreno? Is he on a pitch count, Kyle Kancey? I mean, Kancey, do you think that, like what Bowles said, he's trying to take it easy this time, or are they going to let this dog go?
It's kind of like a yes and no question because you're gonna rotate. Like Vita, he's a big guy. He's not gonna play. He's at most, I think I've seen him play 70% of the snaps. But you're gonna rotate them. Greg Gaines, Mike Green, Golston. Mm-hmm. So we have, you're not gonna. Maybe, yeah. I mean, just having Kancey back is huge. Rotate him in, keep him fresh. That's why Vita's coming off a little pec injury. Maybe he'll play maybe a little more of the snaps.
Eric Hartnett, let me ask you this: is there because you just named all the defensive linemen we have, the talent we have up front, the first round picks we have with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, who's still a double-digit guy, and Shaq Barrett, Logan Hall, Sac Avenue. Is it a coincidence, Eric Hartnett, that this Buccaneers defense in 2023 has similarities to the Buccaneers defense of the 2003 or 37 when we had Warren Sapp and the dogs we had on the defense at that point, that front 7? Is it a coincidence or is this the way Tampa Bay defenses should be?
Might be better. It could be better.
Oh, well, maybe not 4 Hall of Famers, although one can hope, right? I mean, one can hope, but no, this is a great defense.
What I'm saying, We got Devin Whites, Vita Vita, Devontae David. That's 3.
Antoine Winfield.
4.
Wow.
Jamal Dean. 5.
David Winfield. We got
Jamal Dean.
Cansey. I mean, Cansey is young. He reminds me.
I'm here.
I mean, he reminds me of a. I don't know.
Warren Sapp.
Wild dog. Let me tell you guys.
He's Warren Sapp, you guys.
He doesn't. I want to see him get that get off. I know he's got the tricks, right? And with Joe Tryon and his length on the outside, and of course Logan Hall.
Hey guys, don't forget about Shaq Barrett. That could be 5. Shaq Barrett.
Hey, if Shaq Barrett. Well, I was gonna say if Shaq Barrett and Levante David retire tomorrow, who's the first one in a Ring of Honor? Because Levante's already made his mark.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but Shaq Barrett, not far behind. I mean, a kid comes in here after Colorado State and what he did in Denver, and he comes in as a no-name free agent signing. I don't think Jason Licht gets enough credit for that. We always talk about Mike Evans, his first draft pick, and then he pooped with Jameis Winston, but he brings in this and he drafts Vita.
Don't forget about the kicker he drafted.
Is you talking about Robert Aguayo?
Yeah.
No, you're talking about.
Oh my God!
Gay. You're talking about the U boot and Gay. He's like one of the longest kickers in the NFL now.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? He played for the Rams. He played for the Rams.
Hey, one more question.
Go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
You think Mike will have any limitations this week? He was apparently he was like laughing. He was working out with a trainer at the bonus practice yesterday. I mean, there's no way he's going to miss this week.
I think he's because I don't think nobody on the Lions secondary can guard Mike Evans.
No,
They're all short. That's for sure.
It's going to be a field day because one of the Lions safeties is out for the year.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about, the injuries they have in the secondary. I don't think anybody can cover Mike Evans, but we talk about
and the other safety too.
We talk about Elijah Cansey being on a pitch count, though. Do you really want to? I mean, Mike Evans. Here's the thing, Eric, that scared me about the Mike Evans thing. What was the Mike Evans every year in his first 6 years in Tampa Bay? What was it every year he had? It was the injury in camp every year when he first came into camp.
All kind of injuries he had.
Well, but he always had the hamstring problems. Every year he'd have the and I know it's just because the dog. He's got this muscle structure in his body, the way he works his craft.
He should be wearing some gloves or some.
He had in 20. The first game of Brady's career, Mike Evans had a grade 2, apparently, and he was like, okay, he's probably 25% chance he's going to play, and he didn't really do anything, but he wasn't limping or but and even in 21 grade 2 came back in 2 weeks, and this one it's a tweak, so
not bad.
Maybe they limit him in practice to but like, hey, take it easy, and Sunday, just go off. I think, and who can cover Godwin? Cade Otton, Trey Palmer, maybe Rachaad White get some targets.
Don't forget about Thompson, my boy.
Yeah, but let me give you guys a drop this week. I talked to a guy that's in fantasy football, and I said, I asked him because I don't do fantasy football. I should, but I'd have an I always have an all Buccaneers team, and I either feast or famine.
Me too.
I said to him, but I said, what is the average for a tight end? I know you got your George Kittle 3 touchdowns Sunday night, but what's the average for a tight end across the NFL? It's good for a fantasy team in an average league. He said, well, 10 to 11 points. That's a good baseline average. If you can get 10 to 11 consistently out of your tight end. And I said to him, let me tell you something then. I think Cade Otton, I'm sorry, but I think Cade Otton's getting ready to pop. Baker's always been one who relied on his tight ends, and Cade Otton is starting to show me some stuff. Not only is he doing the dog work inside and blocking, but he's starting to become available with his receiving skills. I think Cade Otton might be starting to get off. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Do you think Keyshawn Vaughn might get more snaps this week over Rachaad White?
Eric Moreno, what do you think about Keyshawn Vaughn? He surprised us with the performance last week he had. I mean, he came in and the kid from Vanderbilt, the SEC stud, did his job. Has he earned a little more time, or doesn't it behoove the Bucs to use whatever they have in the cupboard?
Yeah, I think Canales said that he was more familiar with the Saints. So I was like, where's Sean Tucker? To get some, 30 3rd and 1s or 2nd and 2. You know, they said
Is
he's
he
like a mini Nick Chubb, but
He is.
I
Oh.
gonna get off. Gonna go eat some dinner.
Yeah,
Nice
no,
talking
Eric,
to you
thanks
guys.
for coming in. I'm sorry I kept you. No, brother. Hey, good talking to you. I'm
Sorry
gonna
about
be
that
over.
little. I
No, you're
didn't.
good.
What do you guys
No, that's
think
all.
about
Hey, that
Coach
adds to the drama
Wilson?
of the beach out here. But hey, if I'm over at if I'm over in Tampa at the stadium on Sunday doing a Papa Ray, I'm trying to do a 2 to 3 hour pregame show. I'm gonna have the soundboard and microphones. Make sure you stop by. No, I'll text you if I'm gonna be there so you can come by and get on mic on the camera with me. All right, bro.
Later.
All right, later, bro. I think I. So Eric, it's just you and me. Let me see if I go this way. Let's see how we look. There we go. I'll move over here. So, Eric, before I get out of here, I've taken it almost to 1 hour. I try to always maintain about an hour. What are your keys to this game? I know we've kind of covered a lot of it, but what are you
I'm
looking
still here.
for? Go ahead.
Oh, I wonder is Jamal Dean gonna be 100% healthy this week? Jamal Dean, nobody talks about it.
No, I think Eric did say that he'd be playing. No, we said Carlton Davis. Jamel Dean.
That's a good.
I haven't heard anything as far as whether he's gonna. I thought I heard that everybody was showing promise, but I mean, obviously we won't get the final, start until the day before.
Yeah, starts tomorrow the practice.
Yeah, they've come back from the bye week. They had a whole week off. Were you when you saw Coach Bowles talking about it in the locker room last weekend after the victory over the Saints or the 2 weeks ago?
He looks happy.
Yeah, but did you notice how Devin White was saying something about, what'd he say? And then Coach Bowles even made the joke that said everybody except Devin has the week off.
Yeah.
You noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Devin White wasn't Devin he supposed to be a
His Devin White showed off. That's why, because he's the best.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't he supposed to be a contract issue in 2023? Wasn't the narrative that he wanted to get paid and he was going to?
Yeah.
And also Mike Evans, I saw him in one of the videos.
That's Toy Boy's boy, though. I'm gonna say it. That's Toy Boy's man.
Oh, Devin White.
Yep.
Oh, 100%. Because I mean, Todd Bowles played in the secondary, but he was a defensive dog, just like Devin White. Linebacker. Did he play linebacker at Temple under Coach Arians?
I don't remember.
No, I think it was all secondary. But I mean, you notice that Todd Bowles but that's another thing. I know I'm getting a conspiratorial, so let me just lay this on you. I was setting you up.
I believe in conspiracies too.
Yeah. Well, the national media, Eric.
Yeah.
The national media. We know here locally that Devin White, even though he said he's working on a second contract before he gets drafted at OSU.
He said he wanted to be traded in the offseason, but he changed his mind. He stopped the request of the trade.
You see, he didn't request a trade. I mean, I never got confirmation or never received a source that said, second confirmation or said to me he wanted to trade. He was just doing what he has to do because he's getting ready to. Unlike Roquan Smith in 2022, who demanded and ended up working his way out of Chicago. Devin's also a linebacker, comparative numbers, not quite, but close. And I think he's showing his cover skills.
He's better.
I think he's better. He's faster, sideline to sideline, and he definitely brings the boom.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just doing his work. It's like, hey, don't forget, this is the last year of my contract, and I don't, and I said maybe the worst thing that would happen to him is he gets franchised, but he's just trying to make sure people realize
we can always give him the 5th-year option or the franchise tag this year.
Well, the franchise tag for next season, of course, that would be he would get paid among the top 5, the average of the top 5 linebackers in the league. So that wouldn't be the worst thing.
What do you play on it though? That's my thing.
Well, see that might be an issue. I mean, that might have been what this whole year was about. He was wanting to recognize. Don't forget, I still want to be the highest paid linebacker in the league. I'm going to show you guys, but let's forget. I'm showing you because he may realize a Buccaneers team. If you're going to sign a Mike Evans, if you're going to have a Chris Godwin, if you're going to have a Shaq Barrett and continue to have a Vita Vea, and what's that?
Baker Mayfield.
No, Baker Mayfield. I mean, let's be honest. Of all the things that have most surprised in 2023, Eric, isn't the fact that the Buccaneers are spending a combined $13 million between Mayfield and Kyle Pitts. They're spending $13 million on their starting quarterbacks in 2023, and $4 million of that is based on the incentives that Baker Mayfield seemingly at this point is definitely going to achieve.
He might get a bonus during the playoffs. He might get a big bonus during the season.
I think he should get a contract during the season. I think that maybe a Baker Mayfield.
I'm getting scared. How much money are we going to pay Baker? Are we going to pay him Kirk Cousins money, Are we paying Jared Goff money? Or are we going to be paying what happened to the Giants money? Danny Jones.
Oh, Daniel Jones. What a dumpster fire the Giants are. Isn't it
That's
sad? I mean,
that's what I'm scared about. Are we going to pay him that kind of money, $40 million a year?
well, here's the thing. Even though Jameis was a bust and Roberto Aguayo, who I kidded around and mentioned earlier, but I mean,
The
even
whole draft class was a bust.
the whole draft class. I went and looked just the other day. I'm like, okay, if it wasn't going to be Jameis and Mariota, who was it going to be? And there was nobody in the top 10 of that draft that I would have wanted. There's nobody in the top 10. And the Bucs had a need. They needed a quarterback.
What other option was there besides the quarterbacks? Was there any? What was the other options?
Now you're putting me on a spot. I just know that I went and looked because I was looking for a little bit of a narrative, and I'm like, no, there was no draft picks because the Bucs' number one need was quarterback, right? So, but that was their biggest need. But I would pose that if Marcus Mariota came here, he would have had even. Well, I don't know. Never say never, but I mean, it doesn't seem like he'd have come here and all of a sudden been a superstar.
Do you remember we was gonna get Marcus Mariota if the coach would have came here? What's his name? I can't think of the coach.
What, from Oregon? He was a coach at Oregon, or
Kelly. Remember Chip Kelly?
who?
Chip Kelly.
Oh, wait, Chip Kelly?
Yeah, we almost got Chip Kelly, and
God, Jesus, Eric, you're breaking moves. Breaking news, Eric. You're reminding me. Yeah, Eric Kelly for 5 minutes was possibly going to come here, and of course, the narrative was that a quarterback like Marcus that would have gone around and would have moved around and given him that mobile offense would have been a keeper. Okay, so there's a ticket where Mariota would have been here with a Chip Kelly, and yeah, the Bucs may have tasted success, but Jason Light almost would have put that together. One of my point is that whatever Baker Mayfield's going to get paid at the end of this season, which you still got a few weeks to go, I think that Jason Light's going to make the best decision because I think he's one of the best general managers in the NFL.
if he's asking too much, do we go with Kyle Trask next year? If he's asking too much.
Okay, so I don't want to hurt no one's feelings right now, but what I'm saying is if you're talking from if I'm removing myself as the fan, as the guy who loves this Baker narrative, loves seeing him last week. And did you see him at the Red River Rivalry when he got on with Pat McAfee at the game? Did you watch the Oklahoma-Texas game?
Watched it.
You watched it? It was great, right? It was a good game. It's a great game. As a guy who loves Baker Mayfield, I would say I would like to see it work because I think that part of the reason why the Giants are having a problem is because they didn't pay Saquon Barkley. They franchised him and they gave Daniel Jones all that money. I think that at the end of the day, you still got 53 dogs and they're pro players. They're paid to play. They're the best at what they do in the entire world. But I think also locker room means a lot. That's why the Buccaneers, all the post-game locker rooms we see means so much to me because I think that goes almost as important as the skill and the preparation as they do on Sundays to play.
Then Rick Kennedy, if it was me right now, I'm tagging Winfield right now.
Oh, if Winfield doesn't get out of here, no, not what he's doing, not what he means to that back in that secondary. Because I mean, I've saw the dogs we have in the secondary. No,
I'll be using my franchise tag on Winfield. If he doesn't get a contract, I'm using the tag on Winfield.
Yeah, but we drafted him in what? This wasn't it. This oh god, I wish I should have remembered this. It was the third round 3 years ago.
No, I'm using a tag. Gotta use that tag. We can't.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a problem because, like I said, I didn't want to hurt no one's feelings. I'm not saying Baker doesn't earn the big contract to be here, but if Baker's not willing, I don't want Baker's camp to get worried. I speak not on behalf of the Buccaneers, but I slept at a Holiday Inn last night. But I would think that Baker, because of what he's been through, the crud and the way he was treated around the league, I would think that he would make a contract work.
What happened to Jonas Smith last year? After the wonderful MVP Jonas Smith season last year, he got paid big bucks.
Yeah, that's a good question, Eric. I'm gonna agree to not answer that question tonight because early on, Eric, you're my guy. You know that I was a Kyle Trask fan, and I still.
That's what I'm scared. If Baker asks for too much money, I don't mind. We go from A to B. Kyle Trask. We won't have to draft a quarterback next year.
I'm glad you make that point because that was one of the reasons why I was so pissed off at the whole Caleb Williams narrative that the Buccaneers would even consider tanking. Because I mean, for them to have even been in the mix for a Caleb Williams in 2023,
that means been fired, and that means
Yeah, Bowles would have been fired. Light would have maintained his job because he's already shown he can make some good picks. But yeah, I mean, so we lose the best defensive coordinator in the NFC South. I know it used to be Dennis Allen, but I happen to think Todd Bowles is better than Dennis Allen at building a defense. I think Dennis Allen is scary, and the Saints.
He brought us the Super Bowl.
Brought us the Super Bowl, and I think he's finally earned the right to be a full, be the head coach of this team in 2023. You mind if I read a couple of these comments, brother?
Don't mind.
Okay, this is a great point that Jim Melvin makes. The Bucs have to make sure they don't fall behind by double-digit figures early on. Keep it close and pull it out in the end. That's the way you have to beat this Detroit Lions team, right? I mean, obviously, if you get behind any team with a big lead, but the Bucs are going to have to play it close to the vest and look to just lock it down at the end of the game, right? You think so, Eric?
Yeah, he's right.
Christopher Cole says we should be allowed to wear the creamsicle in every NFC North game. That's a good one. That really is. I mean,
I don't know. Do you think we should have never left the black and blue division in NFC North? I think we should have stayed there.
Okay. 2002. I was so excited. Of course, I was still a season ticket holder. I was so excited that my wife and I, we bought tickets for the Sunday night game in New Orleans to go and play the New Orleans Saints because it was our first year in the NFC South. Mm-hmm. I think the NFC South, as much as I was worried about leaving the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions, but I was ready to get to a more geographical location. Kind of like the same thing with your Tampa Bay Devil Rays or your Tampa Bay Rays. I'm kind of tired of being in an AL East, where the Yankees fans only travel when their team's doing well. The Red Sox fans only travel. Toronto, they never travel down here. Baltimore, they traveled this year because they got their asses swept by the Rangers tonight.
I'm happy Baltimore is going home too because I'm tired of them. I'm tired of the fan base.
Yeah, they came and showed up a little this year on us. But my point, though, what you asked about was I happy we went to the NFC South. I was looking forward to it. And I tell you this, I always tell this story. I think I've told you this story myself, Eric, that when my wife and I, we left right from Thanksgiving dinner because that was the weekend we played in New Orleans. So we left right from Thanksgiving dinner at my wife's Uncle Tom and Aunt Cindy's house. We drove straight to New Orleans, checked into a B&B at the end of Bourbon Street. We had a great 3 days. It was the day after the Bayou Classic between FAMU and Bethune. Was it Bethune-Cookman and FAMU? But yeah, it was so awesome. Wow. So much of a party there in New Orleans. Great time to go. New Orleans beat us that game. They beat us pretty handily in that game. But, of course, at the end of that season in Super Bowl 37, we kind of got scoreboard when we won that first championship in team history. So I'll always have fond memories of it. I was ready to move out of the NFC North because I was ready to.
He was tired of the far. He was tired of the great quarter. That was pretty fun. The Sanders, man.
I was. Sanders. But I was also just tired of being in the division.
Do you think we could have won a Super Bowl in that division if we would have stayed?
I was getting ready to say, I was ready to leave that division because I was tired of being in the division where the 5 teams beat the crap out of each other. Because we used to kind of like what I figured we'd do in the South this year with the Saints getting a little better and the Panthers still suck and the Falcons looking better. But yeah, we were always beating each other up. But every time the Bucs would get to the playoffs, we were limping into the playoffs because the Vikings and the Packers and the Lions and the Bears, they would play us tough. That was the way that division went. So might miss it a little bit from the competitive. That's why this season it looks so good to me, and why the throwback game here in Week 6 was such a beautiful thing because it is a celebration of our history.
I wish it would be for the Packers game though. The Packers game, that throwback game. I wish it was the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried that the Packers fans this year, especially because they knew that with Jordan Love, they're going to
lost to the Raiders. That was funny. They lost to the Raiders Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and I think they would have traveled less. I'm a little worried about like Eric Marino, the Eric number 1 who was on here tonight. Yeah. He's talking about the numbers, and he's been at the Bears game. He said it was like 60-40 Bears fans. They, all the Chicago fans. Because remember, as much as we enjoy playing these teams in this division, the fans of these teams remember when they used to travel down here every year or every other year to watch them play in the NFC North. Or NFC Central, I'm sorry.
They want payback.
Well, and that brings me to my final point of the night because I've been already on and it's an hour and a half, or I'm going on an hour and 10 minutes. But
I have all night.
No, I don't. But I want you to come on with me next time. But my point is that
I'll come here. No worries.
All right, brother. I'll let you know. I appreciate you coming in tonight. But my point was about the whole attendance show tonight, and that's kind of why I was kind of teasing with the attendance thing. Is that
sad though?
Well, again, the Bucks were supposed to be the worst team in the NFC. They were supposed to be in a Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Todd Bowles was going to be fired. He was in the hot seat. Jason Light was almost.
That was just the media.
That was national media, right?
Only not Bucks fans didn't believe that, did we?
No, we didn't. But the thing is that when those tickets were possibly for sale in the secondary market, when other towns' fans were looking to make those vacation plans for mid-October,
we're not able to do that though. Sell to other fan base.
Well, then why? Like I said, I want to get my tickets when the Bucks are going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. I want to be able to go see the Bucks when they beat Philadelphia and close the vet down in 2002 when they get to the Super Bowl. Or, I want to be there when we open up the new Lincoln Financial Field the next year. Excuse me.
You okay?
I mean, the thing is, fans always want to travel. And I know that's the easiest argument to make and the worst fight to have here is whether we want to see 65,000 rabid Buccaneer fans. We do. And Lord knows we got enough. We got millions of Buccaneer fans, and we got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Bucs fans here in the Bay Area that do go to games every year. But if the other team, the Detroit Lions, who I think they still do win the NFC North this year. I predicted it before the season. I think it's coming to fruition, especially with Minnesota. And now the news with Jefferson, the Packers, whatever's going on there. And of course the Bears, what a cluster.
Mm-hmm.
This might be their champion South title, but we won our third our championship in history. Hey. So, thanks for coming in, brother. I want to read a couple of comments real quick.
Okay, I was going to ask you something, but okay.
Go ahead. No, ask me something. Christopher Cole says, knowing Stu, he'll trade cash. Oh, God. Christopher Cole making a narrative about the Rays being, first of all, never trading for talent at the deadline. I know you've talked with Peter Blake.
You trade Kevin Cash for multiple first-round picks? Like what happened to Rand?
Like John Gruden?
Yeah, can we trade for multiple number ones and some number twos and some.
Let me tell you, that's a good question though, because if the Cleveland Guardians feel like they're that close to a championship, they feel like they can get the best manager. Kevin Cash comes with a nice backstory. But I don't know. I think the Rays will stand to lose.
You think if we never get rid of Madden, the Madden as the manager?
We didn't get rid of him. He chose to leave.
And he won a championship too. He won World Series. After he left.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that the Rays are they're just top to bottom. They're one of the best, and who knows how long it can run. The Rays are one of the best teams in the Major League Baseball and the farm system we have, and the way this team works, the sabermetrics, but also the talent and how they draft and what they do. I mean,
you think
Kevin Cash has been a hell of a manager? I think Kevin Cash has been the best. He's the best manager in team history for sure.
We would have beaten the Dodgers if stupid Kevin Cash never would have benched the pitcher.
Oh, okay. So, you know what, Jim Madden? But we used to get mad at Jim Madden when he used to play the sabermetrics game too. Remember, there were times where he would make the decision. But, I mean, if he was managing a team in 2020 and doesn't pull Blake Snell, then, yeah, I mean, that's a thing.
We would have been champions.
Brother, Eric, we've got Stanley Cups, we've got Lombardi trophies. But we don't have a World Series trophy.
Just imagine if all three teams would have won three. Hey, you know what's funny though? You know what's so strange? Did you know when two cities won, Tampa and Los Angeles won the basketball, and they won it was crazy though how it went though. The championship, the Dodgers won, Lakers win. Dodgers won their championships.
They had it
all in the same year.
Did the LA Kings win it? I'm trying to think of no. I mean,
Lightning won it and the Bucks won it.
And the Rays got to the championship versus the Dodgers.
Yep. And all Tampa and LA won it. The host that was crazy, man.
I think that Tampa Bay has been the best. Tampa Bay, and this is maybe I'm a little impartial here looking through rose-colored glasses, but we've been hands down. And don't forget, I'll throw them in, but they've been just locking down the playoffs and been one of the best team playoffs in MLS is the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, top to bottom.
We don't forget about them.
Now, if you throw into the fact that maybe the USF Bulls can start going, then we can finally get that Tampa Bay title. Let me read a couple more questions. Christopher Cole says Zion is playing better than Dean so far. Yeah, McCollum looked a little.
Man, he could be started. I'm hearing.
We
According to
kind of knew
Todd
that
Bowles,
about the kid, right? We kind of knew
I
that
heard,
about Zion.
heard Todd Bowles said he could be started soon. Rotate him out between Carlton Davis or Dane.
I don't know what that was. I don't know what I was doing there. Sorry. Christopher Cole says Baker's smart and he'll take less money to stay in Tampa. I think that's the narrative I see for Baker. I hope that Baker likes it here enough. I hope that his family chooses that they'd like to be here. And maybe, you can't ask him. He's not going to go hungry.
Baker came looking for the Buccaneers. It was not us. We went to go looking for Baker. You heard it all.
I think Baker loves ball. And I think Baker loves ball, and he loves the guys he plays with so much that he would realize.
Could you imagine Baker tickets to win the Super Bowl this year? Just imagine.
You imagine if Baker, what we got to do is maybe when we get, you know what we need to do for the 49ers game? I'm going to throw this out there right now. Eric, you ready for this drop?
Yep.
We got to run around. We got to go out there and warm up in San Francisco. And then right before the, you know where I'm going, right before the team's going to the locker room for the pregame, but to come back out for the introductions, Baker needs to run a Buccaneer flag out to the 50-yard line and spike it right down in the middle of Levi Stadium. What do you think, bro? Does that work for you? That works for me.
Yeah,
that would be pretty good. That would get the guys riled up. But that's been one of the great things and surprises with the Buccaneers in 2023 is they've been riling themselves up. It's been exciting.
How do you like the Todd Bowles interviews? You think Do you think he's better talking this year with the interviews?
Who?
Todd Bowles. How do you like the interview?
Do you
like it?
That's another thing.
Year?
Yeah, but that's another thing. That was a national narrative. Okay. But there was conspiracy. Now, I can't say it's because of legalized gambling. I can't say that it's the NFL's job because they're sponsored by FanDuel and MGM and Caesars, that their job is to try to vanilla paint a bunch of teams and try to make a bunch of teams look great. So you bet the odds or the over, the under, or you bet the lines. But Todd Bowles, he's so devoid of energy, and I get it. I've seen this when he's sitting on the sidelines. And he couldn't believe that Tom Brady was trying to go for it on fourth down when he knew that we were going to beat the Saints in a walk-off. And he said, "Get your ass off the field, skinny boy. We're going to win this thing my way." But Todd Bowles is an emotional guy.
If that was John Gruden, he'd be yelling at them.
Oh yeah. But then John Gruden would have been saying, "Stay out there. We're going to go for it." And of course, that may have been a different ballgame altogether. Eric, thanks for coming in with me tonight, bro. I appreciate you, man. I can always depend on you for the save, man.
Are you tired already?
Oh yeah, I got to go home and eat dinner, and I got to get up at 6 or 5:30 in the morning and get my 2 kids to school and get to work.
I understand.
No, brother,
almost
I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, it's almost 12 o'clock. Holy crap!
Is it really? Jesus Christ! Oh, it's 11:20. I got time. I got a couple of Chick-fil-A sandwiches in the freezer. Eric, thanks for coming in, bro. I'll see you soon. All right.
Have a good night.
You too, brother. Appreciate you, man. Eric coming in here, my boy Eric Hartnett. So. Yeah, I think I got a couple of ideas dropped in here. This is what this is all about. It's just about me. This is my therapy session. I'm on a couch. I'm standing on a couch out here in the front porch of Frabada's. I wish I could show you how awesome. I wanted to give you the party scene that we have going on over here. Still have a nice, it looks like, it's a bachelorette party going on over here at the Saltwater Hippie. But I figured, Golf Boulevard, Archibald's Beach, what the heck? When I realized I had some dogs that wanted to come in and talk a little ball, I'm like, you know what? I needed to use power because if you remember, I did a Cup of Ray last Wednesday night out here, and I got caught in a rainstorm. Of course, that was the going joke for a couple of days, and you all texted and DM'd me, and I appreciated about how I got rained on. And then I went, I have no idea what I was trying to say. But so tonight I hadn't recharged my battery. It's been a little crazy. I've been a little busy, getting excited for the throwback game this week against the Detroit Lions, and so I'm like, I got to find power. I got to get down here and find power. Well, fortunately, the people at Frabada's work with the people at Saltwater Hippie, work with the people over at the Brass Captain. They're all good friends of mine. And Vanessa said, there's the power. You can set up out here. And I was like, you know what? Golf Boulevard shot. The light's okay. You still got to listen to me talk, but we can talk some ball. And I hope you guys and girls had a good time doing that. I'm going to go ahead and just say once again, please go to my YouTube page, Tampa Bay Ray 7683. 76 because that was the year of the Buccaneers inception. Of course, 76 our first year in the league, and at 83 because that was my last year in Seminole Middle School, 8th grade. I have no idea. I forget why it was 83. I remember Tristan was giving me one of numbers, and I threw 83 out there. Wait a minute, 83 because it was Dave Moore. That's it. Was it Dave Moore? God, I'm calling myself out. Yeah, I'm calling my shot. 83, Dave Moore, 100%. current still game host with Gene Deckerhoff and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they host the Detroit Lions on Sunday. That be on 98 Rock. Thanks 98 Rock, because of the Monday night game, I was actually at UPS working, and I brought in my big boom box and I had charged it all up and I set it up. And of course, I started playing the playlist from the music for the Osceola Warrior JV football games at Tristan Belton, playing it for all my dogs there at UPS, and we're into it and everything. But I was still able to catch, the first quarter and a third that I needed to before I could get out of there and get home and watch the Buccaneers game. Christopher Cole says, ball just been eliminated, right? Oh, Baltimore's just been eliminated. Oh, Bucks Rays Bolts said it. Thank you, Bucks Rays Bolts. Yeah, so Baltimore Orioles bounced just like the Rays were by the Texas Rangers. They had a few more fans there in Camden Yards. Yeah, we can have the attendance issue with the baseball another night. I really didn't want to have that argument tonight. It's a thing. It's a thing because the city of Tampa and Tampanians refuse to admit that they don't want to be bothered coming across the bay toward Paradise to see baseball. They want it in Tampa, and it makes sense. That's a larger population, but City of St. Petersburg had a plan, and I don't want to be known as the guy that pushes that. Just been the guy that's seen, when it comes to the baseball, and it's not just because I was credentialed to cover them last season. I have any insight that you guys and girls have. I don't. But when it comes to Tampa Bay area, I've grown up here all my life. So, I remember how hard they had to work and how the city of Tampa was competing with St. Petersburg when city of St. Petersburg stepped up. And you guys, and you know what? It wasn't even a movie yet. Field of Dreams wasn't even out, but it was build it and it will come. City of St. Petersburg built it, and eventually they came, even after Huizenga and the Angelos and the Chicago White Sox and the San Francisco Giants and the Seattle Mariners for like a half a second. That's crazy. But we can have that fight another night. Had some great talk tonight. So I appreciate y'all coming in here. Please share the show. Go to my YouTube page. Follow. Let me give y'all. So it's kind of it's a tall ask to follow someone on YouTube, where all the good content goes, where I drop all my good content. You got to actually know your Google sign in or your Gmail sign in, because that's that easy. Google makes you all you have to do is you have to know your Gmail password. So if you don't know, you have to reset it, but you should reset it anyway to make sure it's safe and nobody hacks your account. After you reset that password, thanks Bucks Rays and Bolts for letting us know about the Baltimore being eliminated. Once you reset that password, then you go to YouTube, you sign in, you're done. You subscribe to my channel every time I go live. And it's not a lot, but only if it's good. Something will make you laugh. Something will make you cry. Something will make you go, that guy's a jerk. I clear it there. So follow me on my YouTube page, Tampa Bay Ray 7683, so you never miss the content. So if I only got one, I got so many YouTube comments tonight. If I've only got one channel to go, I've got bad reception. The show's froze once or twice during this show. But if I try to do a show down from downtown St. Peter Fergs or back out here in front of the Brass Captain or down John Krabby's on the Pass, just up the road a little ways, and if I've only got enough Wi-Fi to do one channel, I'm streaming up to 2 channels right now. It's going to be the YouTube channel. Follow the YouTube channel. Don't miss any of the content. And this way we can build this thing a little more, and I can actually afford to hire a production assistant. So maybe you guys won't be forced to looking at me scrambling down here trying to find power at 9:30 on a Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday edition of Cup of Ray. I hope you all have a great evening, and you guys and girls know how I end every one of these things. See ya. I'm kidding. Everyone needs to know someone cares. And this weekend, as we celebrate the Creamsicles, as we host the Detroit Lions, as we throw back to all the memories that people here still and have gone, moved on, or no longer in Tampa Bay, all the memories, all the times, wearing the colors, in spite of the national media telling us they're the worst team. We never wore bags like the Aints. Never wore bags like the Aints. Thought about it a few times, but never wore bags like the Aints. But everyone needs to know someone cares. This weekend, as we're celebrating throwbacks and our history, again, you need to know where you're going. You got to remember where you came from. You be the one to reach out, let them know that someone does care, because you never know when you're going to give a brother or sister check, and that's going to come back to you as a brother or a sister check, and it was needed. It's just the right time. Let them know you're out there. It's been a Cup of Ray on Taco Tuesday. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Please share the show. Talk to you later.